Hi, I'm Grant, and today we make an Infinity Gauntlet Nightlight. So the idea here is that we'll have a 2 foot by 2 foot plywood base, we'll have some spacers, and then we'll have the Infinity Gauntlet cut out of hardboard that's going to sit on those spacers, and then light will shine around the gauntlet and through the Infinity Stones. Buying a 2 foot by 2 foot sheet of plywood was supposed to make this simple, but we're 24. And we're 24. But if we go this way, we're 23 3/4, maybe a hair less. And here, we're 23 5/8. Son of a bee. So we just cut things down, and we end up with a 23 inch by 23 inch square instead. Then I just ripped down some 1x4s to use as trim that's going to go around the base. This is some black cherry stain that I used on a previous project, but it must have aged incorrectly in my garage or something because it looks purple. But since Thanos has purple skin, I figured this was perfect. This is the hole for where the power cord for the LED lights is going to go. With the base assembled, it was time to move on to the gauntlet. For that I used 3/8 inch hardboard. I cut down a piece to about 14 by 14 inches, and then I freehand drew the gauntlet onto the hardboard. With the gauntlet drawn, I just had to be able to figure out the right size of hole saw for the Infinity Stone holes. Lined everything up and drew them on. And then for an added 3D effect, I decided to do some extra ovals around each Infinity Stone. So here I'm cutting out extra holes that I'll cut out later with the bandsaw. I almost broke the gauntlet on my first hole here. So after that, cut about halfway in, flip it over, and then cut the rest of the way through. And repeat. Here I just freehand drew an oval shape around the circle, so I could easily cut it out on the bandsaw. My first time here on the bandsaw was a little shaky. But by the time I got through stone number 6, I was going pretty quick. I also decided to add a 3D element to the buckles at the bottom of the gauntlet. So here I'm just lining up the bottom curve of the gauntlet onto another piece, and then I just freehand draw the buckles on. Then I head back to the bandsaw and cut the whole thing out. everyone's favorite woodshop chore, sanding. Alright, let's speed this up. Then glue everything up, and if you're short on clamps, just lay a board flat across the piece, and then clamp each end of the board. Coats of spray-on primer, and then it was time to get painting. For the paint, I just used the cheap acrylic stuff that you can buy at any Michael's store. It's about a couple dollars per bottle, but if you do a couple coats, it looks pretty good. The idea here is that this thing is going to match the original Infinity Gauntlet comic book, so I really wanted it to look like the gauntlet from that cover art. So I did the orange shading, and then I added in the black outline. And then at the very end, I touched it up with a little bit of white to kind of make it look like it was shiny. With the gauntlet done, we moved back to the base. First, I just used painter's tape to tape off the base, and then colored the trim gold to match the gauntlet. Then I aligned the gauntlet on the base and drew in light pencil on where the stones were actually going to be. And again, the goal here is to make this look like the original comic book cover art, which had these laser beams going in all directions off of each stone. So I used tape to tape off where all these beams were going to go, and then painted the various colors. I had to do this in several iterations. Do 3 colors, let the stuff dry, remove all the tape, and then lay more tape to do 3 more colors in opposite directions, let it dry, remove it, repeat. Mental note, don't lay your tape in a crisscross pattern. It makes it a lot harder to remove. Back to the garage, and I cut out some spacers that are 3/4 inches wide. Again, these are what the Infinity Gauntlet are going to rest on, and that will wrap the LED lights around. Then I just try to line up where the spacers will go, making sure that I don't block any of the Infinity stones and that I don't expose any of the LED lights. Once I have that set, I mark in pencil where they all belong, I glue them up, and then just use the brad nailer to keep them in place. Perfect fit, and then it's time for polyurethane. I find a foam brush easy for this, mainly because you're able to wrap it in a plastic bag between coats, and then when you're done you can just toss it in the garbage. No hassle of trying to save a brush after you've just used some oil-based polyurethane. I do 2 coats and then once dry, use some steel wool to wipe it down and then a wet cloth. These are some copper LED lights I got off Amazon. I'll put a link down in the description. But basically I just used a small piece of duct tape to start it, wrapped all the way around, one more piece of duct tape at the end. I attached some wire to the back so we'll be able to hang it, and then I used some Velcro strips to attach the gauntlet to the base. And I do this just so I know that we can remove the gauntlet if we ever need to replace the lights. For the Infinity Stones, I got some transparency sheets off Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description for this also. I used some Pro Bond glue from Elmer's to attach them all. The package I bought actually didn't contain a green color, so yellow and blue make green. And look at it glow. What do you think?
Awesome.
Come look at it, come on. Whoa, brightness. Thanks for watching, you guys. We'll see you next time. Oh, jeez.